Hello, my name is Liz. This is Heretic Owl Tarot, and this is a reading for Sagittarius, wherever Sagittarius shows up in your chart. This is a 3-card reading. The first card is your current energy. The second card is energy that's leaving or no longer serving you. And the third card is the energy that's coming in or that will be available to you. I'm just going to shuffle the cards a bunch of times until it feels right. I don't take the jumpers for this spread, but yeah, give me a minute and we'll get your spread out. And of course, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to my channel. It is a form of an energy exchange, you know? So yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm just glad we're here, you know? All right, for Sagittarius. All right. One more. There we go. There we go. All right. So, current energy, we have the 5 of Swords. What's leaving, the Apprentice of Swords. And what's coming in, the 5 of Pentacles. Look at all that change. All right, to clarify the 5 of Swords, we have the 9 of Cups. To clarify the Apprentice of Swords, we have the Hanged Man. And to clarify the 5 of Pentacles, we have the 7 of Swords. This is quite the process. I keep thinking, don't get lost in the sauce. I'm not sure what that means, but it just keeps like cycling through my head. So I'm glad I said it out loud. We'll come back to that, of course, because, you know, that's the end of the reading. But it's interesting because like with the 5 of Swords and the 9 of Cups, it literally feels like becoming a different person. Like that's how I was feeling it when I was sitting here. I kept looking at the snake that's like all wrapped in around itself. It's also like holding all these 5 swords. And it's like kind of like in a knot, it looks like. Right? And it almost kind of feels like holding on to old shit. Anytime I see a snake, I think of shedding skin. And why do snakes shed skin? To grow. Or I believe snakes do this too. I know spiders do. But I believe they also shed skin to replace an injured scale. So not only, right, like outgrowing their own skin to, I mean, literally to the point like they have to shed the skin that they're in. And if they don't shed it completely, like they will literally suffocate in it, right? Like, so, and it's also this delicate balance between how fast the shed comes off. Because like if there was like any type of intervention by say like a human being that keeps a snake as a pet, right? I can't even believe I know this fucking much about snakes, but there's this guy on TikTok called Venom Man 20 or something. And he does these lives, like he has a bunch of snakes and tarantulas and centipedes and shit. And literally for like months, I would watch his lives. Like I was just so fascinated. And he was talking about tarantulas and spiders and snakes that shed their skin. And he was saying something about one of his snakes that was shedding and that he didn't want to interfere too much with the shed because it could, you know, it could either damage or injure the snake or, right? Because you think that those scales that are underneath it are so sensitive, right? I can't even believe I'm even talking about that. I'm just trusting, you know, the direction that I'm being taken in, but it's just so random. But you know, that's just how it's coming through. And the Nine of Cups is like wish fulfillment. It's individual completion. So it is getting to a place where you're happy and emotionally fulfilled. There's also Mars on here, and Mars is in Cancer and retrograde. So depending on what house Cancer is for you, you could just be experiencing some, I want to say, frustration in that house, because I'm a Cancer rising, and I've just been like, I feel like I've been in a boiling pot, and every once in a while I like boil over just to like relieve some pressure. I'm like, this transit is going to be the death of me. But also at the same time though, right? It's like having that extra oomph of motivation, because nothing is truly motivating like frustration or anger or, you know, not that we want to rely on that all the time, but it is a good motivator. Even, there's this storm going on with the lightning up here. Truly, and what just came through my head too is that it's funny that it's coming through as like a snake shedding their skin and not a butterfly. Because like the difference, like the butterfly is in its little cocoon privately, turning to mush and then, coming out as this beautiful butterfly. This feels like more of a, what is the word? Like, I'm not struggle, but it probably maybe just doesn't feel as, ethereal as a butterfly type of thing. It's also interesting to, like fives, transitionary energies, right? Like fives are nothing to pitch a tent and get stuck in. They are there to like get you from, one point to another. It's just that change and transition can be uncomfortable. And especially too, like if it is like really reinventing yourself or really honing in on what it is that makes you happy. How are your desires being met, right? What things, like in the shedding process, what scales are being replaced for you that were injured, right? Like metaphorically. And then what's leaving is the Apprentice of Swords and the Hanged One, the Hanged Man. It's interesting that there's a swords card with every one of these. I want to read what the Apprentice of Swords has to say for itself. But so it is interesting because it's a lot of like head stuff, considering how these things live in your head, right? Like the stories attached to different elements of your life. Okay, so the book says, honest, insightful, and frank. This apprentice embodies a feminine energy whose strength is found in clear communication and an openness to new ideas. Be bold in your personal expression. Look out for opportunities. Stay curious and alert. Why not take a risk? Try public speaking, start a blog or podcast, or initiate conversations with people you find intimidating. Think of it as an exploration phase, a time to be bold, because isn't that what life is all about anyway? Yeah, I feel like even the Hanged Man is like almost kind of affirming that, but it says you've come a long way and now strategy needs to shift. Look out from your new vantage point. What's revealing itself to you? Consider this and then flip the world upside down to examine everything with fresh eyes. While you might feel stuck, don't fight it. Don't forget your wisdom. And that the point is to finally release control. Picture yourself hanging upside down from a tree like a child, swinging from strong legs. The space you're in isn't one to fear. Revel in it. Allow the world to pass you by as you look from a place of power. You're safe here. Yeah. I mean, what's leaving and what's coming in are so closely tied together. I mean, even look at this little ant holding this big ass sword. Because that's the thing about ants, right? They can carry however many times their weight, which just shouldn't really be possible, right? So it almost, and there's this lobster. I've been trying to figure out what is the imagery on this card for, like, literally, because it's actually come out a decent amount of times through these readings so far, and I'm always like, what the hell is that? It's a lobster, dude. What is a lobster totem? Emotions, psychic insights, movement, restoration, and cleansing. Come out of your shell and allow yourself to be a little more vulnerable. Symbol would be protection of the human emotion. Someone who puts up walls or shield to protect oneself from emotional harm. You know, too, lobsters carry like 50,000 eggs on their body, like obviously the female ones. And also they won't catch a female or a breeder is what they call them, which is just so, but whatever. The lobster doesn't know, right? But they mark lobster tails so that other lobster fishermen know that that lobster is a breeder, and they'll throw it back in. And I think I'm honestly just bringing that up because, you know, the feminine mention with the Apprentice of Swords and the whole being able to carry more than maybe even you believe you can carry, maybe not even seeing it that way. Because too, like with the Hanged Man, like it really would be flipping your perception of, you know, I can carry that much because I've had to, versus you're capable of it. And should you have always had to carry more than you can handle? Fuck no. But now though, like if it were your decision, what it is that you're putting on your back, what you are carrying, right? Like the beliefs that you have, the perception that you have over yourself, over your life, over what's possible, right? Again, like if you're the one that gets to decide what it is that you're carrying, I feel like that would be a lot different than other people just piling shit on you and you being like, you know, I'm strong because I had to be. It's the trauma, right? And I think it's interesting because over here, like I said at the beginning, not getting lost in the sauce, because it would be focusing on what was taken from you, what you don't have, what you could have had. And I don't know, you know, I mean, it's out here, it's in the future. So honestly, this could be something that is literally, I mean, it is going to come up for you so that you can recognize, or even really just heal through it. This card too just feels like breaking the mold, which even goes with the first two cards, like I was saying about reinventing yourself, or, you know, shedding your skin, this growth process, replacing scales that were injured, and, you know, this other analogy or metaphor, whichever one it is, about literally breaking the mold, because it's like not putting any more energy into an old way of being, not determining your worth or your value based on an old mold that you didn't even fucking create, right? Like maybe take a ceramics class and fucking make a new bowl or cup or piggy bank. I mean, you know, because there's all these coins around here. I don't know. It came to my mind. So, or even just finding something that is such a weird shape. You know, maybe it's a vase, or, again, I mean, even a cup or a bowl or something decorative that just the shape of it is it's what draws you into it. And it would be like a good physical thing that you could look at and even like remember where you're at in your process. I don't know. That's interesting. And even in the Seven of Swords, there's all these swords that are kind of like placed throughout here. I'm kind of curious. Consider who is showing you what they want you to see right now. If you find yourself being deceitful, this card may indicate that you're not as slick as you thought, which even too could be breaking the mold. Like if you have felt like in the past you've had to manipulate things for them to go in your favor, not even like in a bad way, you know, it could be hustling, it could be, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that like all manipulation is bad manipulation, but you know, like if you just really put on the appearance of, you know, somebody who you don't actually feel like you are, right? But you did that in order to get somebody to like you so that you got what you wanted to get for like a job or an opportunity or whatever. It would be like literally realizing that you don't actually have to do that, at least in that way, or at least like in that type of energy. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, this whole breaking the mold thing. Don't get lost in the sauce, because again, that would be replacing a skin with literally the same exact fucking skin with the same exact injured scales. Like there's a real opportunity here to release something, to break a mold that was there, to do it in a way that is more intuitive and more, you know, in line with your feminine energy. You don't have to be like a feminine, you know, person, but it is just the energy of that. Not to mention too, there's a storm back here. There's this active storm going on in the Five of Swords. So it's, you know, coming out of that too. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.